Hello, welcome back to the FarmCast. We're here from Severance, Colorado, back at our training farm where we had been here about a year ago talking about some different products, but we're here to kind of talk about the farm and what's happening here at the farm and some things maybe you heard about at the Expo event this year. Thank you to any customers that came to the Expo, and happy to say that we're already got our dates planned for next year, February 26th and 27th, so mark that on your calendar. But talk about some of the things we heard at the Expo, how they've actually worked in the field, maybe what some of our customers have seen as well. With me here today, I got Derek Kyle. He's our product specialist manager, and Casey Andrews, who's a precision ag consultant manager. So thanks, guys, for joining us here on this fine, cloudy, rainy day.
Thanks for bringing me out in the cold, Mike.
You're welcome. Yeah. Hopefully a little break for some of our customers from the busy planting season here, and hopefully $1 million rain here. So
let's hope.
Yeah. Derek, maybe just start just kind of talking about what we're doing at the farm here. This field behind us last year was alfalfa. We've kind of converted that to wheat. And I guess what else? What's going on at the farm? What have we done so far to get ready for this year?
It's been busy. So obviously since Expo, we've had a lot of prep work that we've needed to do out here. I mean, just from getting pivots ready, it's a full-time gig really out here, and obviously. So we've spent a lot of time with tillage. So after Expo, on the corn ground, which is just sitting back over here, we've had to do some tillage. We've been spraying out here on the wheat. We've been spraying on the corn. And then we've hit one last tillage pass before planting here, and then planting. So I think the biggest thing since Expo, we had the ExactShot Planter out there, and we've got that out here, and it was an LPB unit, so we spent a lot of time prep work, making sure it was ready to go, and nothing's ever perfect.
Didn't it roll in here just ready to roll?
No. As much as I would like to say yes, for the most part, yes, but there's always some kinks with a pre-production machine, software, that type of thing. Luckily, our Deere field team has been fantastic, and they've been out here supporting us quite a bit, making sure as software changes or they see other things out in the country. I can't remember how many units they said they had out in the country so far, but as they see anything, they're updating us. And so a few software deals that we got figured out ahead of time, which was good. I'm glad we had the time before we got into the field with it to make sure all the kinks were worked out. So I think the biggest thing, though, we spent, I can't remember, what did we spray on this wheat field here?
What products?
Yeah, or roughly what were we doing? Was that our just herbicide pass?
Yeah, that was just strictly herbicide pass.
Okay, yeah, I know. So we did that. We had our See and Spray Ultimate machine out here. It was brand new, so once again, we wanted to get the kinks worked out of it. Yeah. We weren't See and Spraying, but it's a good place to get some product ran through a machine, make sure everything's good before it actually goes out to customer demos. So we used that out here and got that working, and then we had to do fertilizer application on the corn ground with that See and Spray machine. Yep. So luckily we got everything working there, and then it headed out it'll start be doing some demos here soon, I think.
When will you use See and Spray on this field here for the first time?
We've been working with an agronomist, so that was one big thing. We still have full-time jobs, but we're also doing this as well. And I definitely don't claim to be an expert in agronomy. So
you're not a farmer?
I am not. I know how to do that, but when it comes to the details, I pay somebody smarter than me to do that. So we've been working with them. He's scouting every week for us, and then working with you guys because you guys actually understand what all that information means. But
yeah, and building the work plans and stuff like that, so we can put in sprayer or whatever we're using.
So it's back to your question. I don't know. I mean, when do you think we'll be out on this? We planted this about 8 days ago. So I would imagine in a couple, 3 weeks we'd be out.
I'm thinking 2 or 3 weeks and we'll be back out there.
And that's what we'll be doing, the See and Spray trials that will be going on there. So, but yeah, along with every sprayer pass we've done out here, the agronomist recommends this is what we need to spray. Here's your products, and then we work with Casey or precision ag guys, and they build the work plan for us. So that way, that was our whole deal this year, to make sure everything was done ahead of time. So when we roll into the field, Casey sends a work plan to the machine, we pull in, everything's loaded, and we're not out here poking around at the end of the field, entering products, entering tank mixes, all that.
The guidance lines.
The guidance lines, yeah.
Auto pass stuff.
That's been really handy to make sure that's all done ahead
of time. So I remember Troy, our good friend Troy Randall at the Expo, Planning,
I
right?
can't stress that enough.
Yeah, thanks, Troy.
Is
Appreciate
being
the
prepped. But,
insights.
even we get busy enough, and, we're not perfect, and there's days where it's the day before, and I'm calling Casey saying, where's my work plan? We need to get this done. We're spraying tomorrow.
I think you called me once and asked me the same question.
I said, Mike, get your guys in line. We need to get going here. So we totally understand that, because as of, weather changes, or we don't have chemicals on time, working through all those type of hoops. So we were supposed to spray one day, and next thing you know, it's 3 days later or whatever it is. And it's like, we got to go today. It's going to rain tomorrow or whatever it is. So
And I was going to say, we've had to change some products and all that type of stuff, and that was pretty easy just to set that up in Op Center and send that new plan out, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it's live, it's quick. It worked really, really well.
So Casey, that was adjusting an existing work plan, changing products, maybe adjusting other pieces of it. I don't know, did we kind of specify operators in there as well?
Yeah, I think we got all that.
We did all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. So how did Casey maybe talk about the work planner piece of it and the setup side? How did that all work for you as far as getting preparations done for the fields here in the farm?
Honestly, it was pretty easy. I mean, once I had the products we were using and go ahead and build that ahead of time, then I was able to make that tank mix and then just go into WorkPlanner. And then if there was certain guidance lines that were only for that operation, I could build that in, all the tank mix stuff, send it right over. And then these guys didn't have to fumble around in the display to make sure it was set up properly.
You don't trust those guys or what?
No.
I said I'm not an expert when it comes to that, and they're smarter people than me when it comes to those products. I just want to make sure everything's getting documented properly ahead of time, and when we get in, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So,
no, but hopefully, in all seriousness, it's you pull into the field and you go, right? There's no sitting there idling at the end of the field or waiting or trying to figure out what to do next or
it's
changing products.
pretty flawless. And even if we're sitting at the end of the field and something's not where we wanted, or we had to make a last minute change with the product, which happened twice, I think, where we, our local service provider, we had a different product and we had to switch it up, make a quick phone call, send a new work plan out, or even that, I think a lot of the times, maybe not on this, but some of the other stuff we've been doing, as long as all of it was in Op Center, I just sit there at the end of the field with my phone and then build a work plan quickly from Op Center mobile, shoot it to the machine, and then it pops up instantly, and everything's good. If there was a guidance line that I didn't like, or I wanted to add something that we didn't put in the work plan originally, I just do it right from my phone, and that's been working pretty good. Even though we're in pretty poor cell service out here, like pretty poor, it's pretty quick.
Awesome.
So I was pretty happy about that. If you can get it to pull up on your phone, it'll send to the machine, which has been nice. So.
Well, it's great to have that mobile presence where you can do those things just from the touch of your phone and be able to get it done. Edit the work plan.
Yeah, I've been using it every single day. I mean, it's been super helpful. Just monitoring when we're out in the field, all of that's been really good. So this time of year, I'm sure you guys too, but we're using Op Center Mobile every single day when we're out here. So that's been good. So
if you're listening, go download Op Center Mobile from the App Store.
Yeah,
you'll love it.
It's a very handy tool. Yeah, it's a very handy tool. So, but no, it's been working good. So once we've got everything sprayed, then like I said, it was on to tillage. We ripped with a combo ripper this field last year, so it was a little rough out there ahead of time. So we took and did the last pass of tillage right before ahead of planting, and then of course we got 6-7 tenths of rain on it, which was good, but we were a little early. We were kind of pushing things a little bit because we knew we had another rainstorm coming in. We were planning on planting on a Wednesday and ended up starting Monday afternoon. So, but it worked out pretty good. And so that ExactShot Planter, we took it. We were testing some things out with the fertilizer system because the products we were going to run, what did we run, Black Label?
Yep.
And we weren't 100% sure, that stuff's kind of thick and nasty, and I think a lot of guys around our area run that Black Label. So I just had them haul out, 50 gallons of it the week ahead of planting, and we had that little 11-acre field out there. So I threw a bag of seed in and put 50 gallons of fertilizer in, and we tested different nozzle sizes and rates and things like that to make sure that this product was going to work in it. And everything worked flawlessly. I think we ended up cutting it with a little water and bumping our rate up a little bit, but everything worked out good. So that way I knew we were prepped instead of getting a couple cone bottoms full of fertilizer and finding out the hard way the day of planting. So prep work paid off pretty well. So that worked out good.
When we kind of going back to See and Spray, have we kind of changed any products based on utilizing See and Spray? We have the Ultimate machine, so we can do a broadcast and a See and Spray application at the same time. Are we going to do that?
Right.
You know, what's going to happen there?
I'd lean on Casey on kind of what we've done as far as a pre-application, which we did that just right after planting. Actually, after planting we did that pre-application, but I can't remember. Did we change anything?
No, we didn't. We haven't deviated really from the plan at all. I don't know. I think we'll probably sit down with the agronomist and kind of get a little bit more of a game plan here on what we're going to do as far as like passes throughout the growing season. Sure. But I don't know. I think to truly utilize that technology, I still kind of think we stick with the game plan of our traditional method of just doing a broadcast pass and then see how it stacks up with that See and Spray technology.
And we are going to do a trial of half of the field with a broadcast and half with just See and Spray, right? And hopefully we don't end up with a stack full of weeds, and confident that we won't with the technology that we're using.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to prove out to our customers that you can dial back on the intensity level of the See and Spray machine and really still get that value and maximize your chemical savings from See and Spray.
I think that's been not a struggle, but something we've been working through is we didn't really know. We're trying to identify what products do we use and how much of it on the See and Spray and then the pre and everything. So we really won't know now that we put just a standard pre-broadcast across this field here. We'll know what weed pressure is going to be like out in this, right? So we're watering in that pre-application right now to activate all that, but we'll kind of see here in the next week, depending on what the weather does, how the weed pressure is going to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, just walking through that field a little bit earlier this morning, there is some starting to come up there. So I think this will be a pretty good test for that technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. No, I think that'll be good. But
you don't trust the rain? We had to turn on the pivot.
We got to turn on the pivot. Things are we've only had 80-mile-an-hour winds here for the last couple of weeks.
Finally calm today.
It's just today's the first calm day. So yeah, the wheat's been looking good, but we needed to get water on that, and then we needed to finally get some water on that corn. So that's been the fun part. So on top of planning all these trials and everything, we still have to maintain pivots and fix nozzles and check gearboxes and do all the fun stuff.
You said you want to pretend to be a farmer. So you got to do it all, Derek.
There's no pretending when you're out there getting soaked by a plug nozzle. So
I thought that's when you delegate that work.
I did kind of delegate that. Poor Cole in case he got a little wet in his nose. Yeah, but. No, we've got those all operational and up and running now, so that's good. But
is that when you were out here in your fancy shirt?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Delegate when you're out here.
Always plan to have a crappy shirt in your pickup. Okay. So when you do got to go get a little dirty, it's not getting trashed and getting yelled at. So
good deal.
Yeah.
Good. Moving on here to ExactShot. Yeah. So our first time using it, and so what was the experience? You talked about setup a little bit, but maybe dive deeper into that, or what was our experience here and what we've seen with the trials we've done so far.
I'll go back to planning once again. I can't say enough about that. So what we've done on this cornfield, not only are we doing ExactShot trials out there, we're also using hopper throttle, a biological seed product out there that we're doing trials with to vet that out as well. So I got to give a shout out to Troy. I can't give him enough credit when it comes to building those ahead of time in agronomy analyzer to be able to, he's laying the trials out. The way we do it is in basically 3 passes with a 16-row planter. Okay. So that way, if I need to come in with a 12-row corn head or 16-row corn head, everything lines up. So I think the way he set it up was, if I remember right, we have 6 passes of hopper throttle and then 6 passes of non-hopper throttle. Okay. And then within those 6 passes, we did 3 passes of continuous with the ExactShot machine, and then 3 passes of dosing. So that way, all of our trials, we can collect all that data within within those strips inside of there. So what he does is he just builds it all out in a agronomy analyzer with basically colored maps for somebody like me. I like colors. It's easy. So once
you draw with crayons.
yes, it's super easy. Even with those, though, he'll build it all out ahead of time. He sends a work plan, and then when I upload it into the tractor, basically I just have colored maps on the screen of I know, that way I don't forget when I'm turning around I need to switch it from continuous to dosing, or, we planted the whole half of the field, the strips for non-hopper throttle, and then switched over and dumped the hopper throttle in. But that way I don't get off a row. So I'd make it pretty simple, and I write on the window of green is this and blue is this. So that way if somebody else jumps in the tractor, it makes it easy for trial management, because we've done a couple demos, which I'll get into later, that we didn't have that for. So what I would have to do is I just got to mentally take notes, and I'd be like, am I on my third pass or my fourth pass? I don't remember where I'm at. Do I need to switch this or not? So that worked.
You don't utilize the operations center for that?
Well, yeah, we tried. Like I said, not everything's perfect, even on our end of things. Sometimes demos and different customer orgs gets a little tougher to do.
Sure.
So,
well, you have room to improve, Derek.
We do, yeah, we definitely do. but no, that made it super easy. So then as soon as I pull in that field, I know exactly where I need to be with that. So like I said, once we did the testing, I knew what nozzles I needed to run. That's a different thing with ExactShot that we hadn't had before, is there's different nozzle sizings on there. So depending on the product density of that and the rate you're applying, we would have to change nozzles. And there's a whole chart on there. So we knew at the product we were running, we have a wide range to run in with one set of nozzles to keep our pressures where we needed to be. And it worked flawlessly. So I think we started on continuous and just ran and did all my strips with that. But the nice part about it is I could just switch that on the fly. So as I was turning around at the end of the field, I'd switch it from continuous to dosing. And with the product that we were doing, cut with water, we were applying about, I want to say 8 gallons.
Yep.
8 gallons total, which obviously that's cut with water. But then when I would go to dosing, I was only applying about 2.2 gallons total. So with that 2-inch band right on the seed.
So you did a 2-inch band on the
2-inch band,
yeah,
yep. So
because you can do a 1, 2, or 3.
1,
correct?
2, or 3, yep. And we just stuck with the middle range on there to see what it would do. But our equivalent rate, and you can see it on the map in Op Center of exactly what we saved within those strips about 66% fertilizer. So worked really well, came through good on Op Center, everything. Like I said, surprisingly, we had 0 issues. Once that thing got dialed in, it just ran. Nice. It really ran well. We ran 9.6 to 10.1 mile an hour across this field the entire time, and it didn't skip a beat. So
what kind of dollar savings was that? You said 66%. Roughly what? What kind of
to be determined, right?
Okay.
So once we know, we already know what our inputs are going to be. We know what the fertilizer cost us per gallon to put on that. But once we kind of wrap all that up, we'll see. My goal is to see what the yield difference is going to be.
Yep.
Hopefully at the end of the day, nothing. There's no difference in there. But obviously Deere's tested that out in different parts of the country, but we're testing it here to verify. And even if even if there's a bushel difference between that, when we do the math at the end, we're tracking that very heavily.
Still way ahead.
We're still going to be way ahead. We still obviously would have to figure out using ROI calculators from Deere to see what the cost of the system is and all that.
Sure.
Which I think that's going to be released here soon. So, but that's all we can do is test it out and try it so far.
Yeah.
But man, I was very, very impressed with the planter, the way the planter worked, and the ExactShot. It didn't miss a beat. So I was pretty happy.
I think one thing also to highlight there is we kind of set it up on some suggestions we heard from farmers too. This is how they were most likely going to run it, so that's how we wanted to do these trials and make sure, is it going to work here? That way we have confidence when we're talking to them on how it could be useful for their operation.
We'll find out here. Like I said, we're only 8 days from planting, but we're not only going to monitor the difference in the hopper throttle and the non, which will be good as we get emergence here.
Hopefully we stay away from that white combine that kind of took our hopper throttle.
We were just talking about that earlier here.
Last year to crap. So
yeah, no, we've got more trials of that, obviously out east, and then up here. So hopefully we get some good data off of that and see how it works.
Yeah,
so
good.
Been pretty happy so far with it. Now that things are planted, we're just monitoring pivots.
Yep.
Keeping water on it so we have a good year, and hopefully everything will be good.
Mm-hmm. And you've taken that ExactShot Planter out to some customers as well.
Yeah,
to do some demos.
Yeah, we've tried a bunch of different things. So we've demoed it 3 or 4 times yet. Now, since we finished with ours, we wanted to bring it on to this place first to make sure that there was no kinks, everything was worked out and fully operational. And so we've been demoing it here, like I said, 3 or 4 guys, and in different conditions too. Strip till ground, sandy ground, different. Every time's been a different product that we've ran through that. So to switch over between a light viscosity product to a heavy viscosity product would either be just doing the math, switching the nozzles out, takes 2 minutes to do that, and then you can just run a dosing test right there on the display, and you can calibrate it, you can test it to make sure it's verified, stick a jug underneath of there and tell it how many doses you want to put out, and it's been dead on every single time. So but so far the trials have been really good with customers that we've done. Everybody's been pretty happy, and we've planned ahead with those demos as well, right? We can't just take the machine out and say, here you go. We have to set those trials up the same way we do here, and we have to know, hey, are you chopping this with a forage harvester? What size head? Do we have a harvest lab on there so we can collect that data back off of it? Are you picking it? Mm-hmm. So we have to do all that prep work ahead of that demo, so that way, if we don't collect the data off the end of it, it was kind of didn't do us any good, and that customer any good to know, hey, did this work or not? So we did all that prep work ahead of time, and
so plan. Still
plan. Yes.
Hashtag Troy Randall.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. But so we'll see. Like I said, we'll be the customers we've done. I think 2 of them. No, 1 of them is going to be chopping the corn that we did with that. So we'll collect that data with a Deere forage harvester, and then 2 of them will be combining it.
Good.
Yep.
Awesome.
So
Very excited to see how that
I am
plays
too.
out.
Yeah. No, I am too. At the end of the day, even the system just works. It's simple. It's integrated well. So,
and great that we can compare some of what our customers are doing, and likewise what we're doing out here at the farm on our own. And like I said, happy to take some risk out here with our trials. Obviously, customers can't take that much risk, but it'll be exciting to see how that works out.
Right. No, so far everything's been pretty good. I think we've got a handful more demos to do. There's still guys planting corn. Obviously, we're still heavy into the season, so we'll keep running that machine as much as we can, and getting in front of people and seeing what they think about it. But
heard of a few guys up north wrapping up, but it's kind of same down here, getting to the tail end.
Yeah, there's quite a few guys getting wrapped up.
Yeah, I think probably dryland guys got some dryland to get out east yet, probably.
And then some double crop stuff still yet to get going there too. So kind of all over the place, but there's still plenty of guys that have wrapped up already.
Right.
And replanting some beets maybe.
Yeah, so we got a little eager.
Yeah, it happens. So.
But it's been so cold this spring too. It's kind of abnormal. So
It's cold out.
Yeah,
it's all right now.
There's some rain snow mix on the way down here this morning. So it's May. And beginning of May here. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Just how it goes.
Yep.
But maybe talking about some customers, what have you both heard from customers as we've gotten into planting, and how's it been going? What issues have they had? How have we resolved them at 21st?
Do you want the good or the bad?
We'll take both. I know it's not always, like we said earlier, it's not always perfect.
Yeah,
and,
no, it's
we
not.
know that there's problems, and that's what we're happy to be here at 21st to help our customers solve those problems. But so we can do the bad too. That's fine.
I was going to say, it's been all over the place, and that's just kind of normal for planting season. I mean, good things is just like some of the guys that have taken the opportunity to invest in some of this newer technology. I think they're really liking it. Just some of the interface changes and different opportunities you have with like a G5 or even Gen 4, they're really liking that setup and some of the things they can do there. We've done some demos with certain things with like AutoPath, turn automation, and found some workarounds to make turn automation work for guys doing like circle track, we're finding more opportunities for them to like truly be able to utilize this technology. That's been really good. So some good feedback, some little obstacles that we've ran into, like we already had to get patch software for some receivers.
The 7000s, right?
Yep, exactly. But I think like SFRTK, we have several guys around that, and they really enjoy it so far this year, just being able to not worry about being locked onto a certain base station and be able to go wherever they want across their operation, and it just works.
Good.
Yeah, and that was kind of one thing that, thinking about all the demos and planning ahead of time, that's one thing we ran into is obviously our demo tractors integrated SFRTK, and we go to do a demo and guys maybe on SF2, SF3, or radio RTK, so we're like, okay, well they strip tilled everything on this, so luckily we caught them ahead of time, and we just take them out a 7000 receiver with SFRTK so they can use that on their strip till tractor, go strip till, and then we come in and plant there, and we throw that demo receiver on their planting tractor for them to come fill the strips in. So that way everything's on the same correction signal and everything worked out. It worked out well, and we didn't have any issues with that. So
yeah, maybe a shameless plug. I mean, you guys got hats on. I don't, but it's, things that have made me lose more hair is just, being able to utilize the Precision Ag Essentials kit with that Starfire 7000 receiver, the G5 display, and your choice of an M or R modem. That connectivity is so vital with what we're doing today, both from just tracking what's happening and the data coming off the machine, but then also supportability. Us at 21st, our best way to support our customers to utilize remote display access, RDA, and other capabilities to just see where the equipment is. I'm talking to other folks at 21st about sending field trucks out to machines. The only way we know where they're at is if they're connected and we can see exactly where they're at, send a truck right to the machine and get the customers up and going right away. So
I was going to say, RDA has been a lifesaver this spring.
As always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every year, I swear, I'm on that thing all day, every day, it seems like, but it's so
I think
quick
we had a
and easy.
record. What was Andy's record? 49 hours of a straight RDA session?
He cheats, and he just leaves it on.
I think it was 249 minutes for one continuous session.
I remember the 49, but
but I think he was cheating.
He watches RDA instead of Netflix, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to pump them numbers up a little bit.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So
no.
Good.
No, I think, like I said, we've had a few issues. I think a lot of the issues, not issues, it's just things that we have every year is guys relearning downforce. And how do I set downforce on my IRHD planter or active pneumatic, whatever it is, and relearning that and getting that dialed in. So just a lot of phone calls helping guys out understand, margin is a hard thing to understand.
Sure.
And it's a confusing thing. So working through with guys on that's been a lot of them. And then
wide and narrow gas rows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Reared its ugly head again this year.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
That's always a fun one.
Yes. And there is always different things we had to do to make it work, but I think if you always go back to fundamentals, usually you can get it set up and get them rolling again.
Yeah.
Blocking and tackling.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you have some insight on maybe some seed bowls?
Yeah, so Deere released those new seed bowls for exact emerges this year, which they kind of slated toward flat seed. Everybody knows flat seed they're not ideal to singulate. We can get them to singulate pretty well, and we've been doing it for years, but this new bowl was made for flats. And actually the seed we planted here was small flat seed, which is even worse to singulate sometimes. And that new bowl was just fantastic. I mean, we were 99.5 and up the entire time at 10 miles an hour with that. So we ran it and with our seed, and then all the customers we've been running, we've been trying it too. So different brands of seed, different sizes. We ran large flats. The other day we were on a demo and I tried it with some super large round, which it's not slated for, but that was some of the best singulation with one of those planters I've seen. Very, very good. So I'm happy to see that new bowl performing. I think we're going to continue to use that moving forward, because we have, guys always struggle. Field was planting great. I switched varieties, and here we go. Now my singulation dropped, and they're fighting it. And I think this bowl could be a good option for guys to to even things out. So
absolutely.
we've had pretty good luck with it so far.
10 mile an hour out here, you'd be done in about an hour and a half.
You would think that, yeah. You would think that. It's always quick until you get to the end rows.
Sure.
And then then your plans go out the window when you're doing end rows, because that was one example when we planted this. I planted this last year, and then I was also the combine operator last year.
Sure.
Well, first year doing it, you don't think when you're planting it all looks kosher until you get out here with the combine and go, boy, I wish I didn't do that.
You have one chance.
I'm too close to the ditch, or this didn't work out. So, luckily we tried to plan ahead a little bit of saying, all right, if I'm going to be the guy out here harvesting this with a 16-row corn head, that wasn't ideal last year. I'm going to make some changes out here on the end rows and think ahead, so it helps us be better for our customers, to give them a little bit of an idea, be like, I've learned the hard way that we probably shouldn't do it. And this is a weird shaped field too, but
Sure.
but not all of them are perfect circles.
Octagon.
I don't even know what you call this thing.
How'd you do in geometry?
Not great, apparently.
Right.
Yeah. But
Octagon, hexagon, I don't know.
Luckily, we use Boundary Track on this whole, for the most part of it. Boundary Track's been a lifesaver, because it'll just generate all those lines. We don't use it all the entire time because of some of the swoops in the field. The planter will plant it fine until you go to harvest it, and then you lay over 16 rows of corn trying to make a sharp curve. So lessons learned there, but being able to have Boundary Track fill all those in worked really well.
Good.
And there's some steep point rows on this the way we planted it this year, but we just widened our headland and used ATTA, and even on them steep point rows, that thing is just dead on every single time. So I think that saved us some time, not fighting, driving it, just letting ATTA do its job.
Nice.
Yep.
A lot of customers utilizing turn automation for the first time this year, and heard a lot of good things too about just the amount of savings and how accurate that is to get through the field, turn around at the end, and get right back where we need to be.
Right. So. And now with this year, I don't know, have you guys played with the disabling the speed on it and just manually controlling it with a tractor this year?
I don't have anybody that's done it that way. Maybe some of the other guys have, but I haven't.
I played with it a little bit out here just because we could, because that was one thing, like the combines, you have to control speed on the ends, which at first I was like, well, why doesn't it just drive? But honestly, it was kind of nice, because you don't know. I kind of like controlling the speed when I'm combining, because if I have a big pivot track, I don't want it to keep going where I can manually just override that. It's still doing the turn for me, but I was controlling the speed, which I kind of enjoyed actually. But I played with it a little bit out here with the planter, but for the most part, once I got it dialed in, just let it do its thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
No.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Good.
I was going to say one other thing I think we should talk about is it's not as intimidating as a person might think. Sure. I was going to say, once you get your sequence down of what you need to do there at the end or coming into the field, then it's just like some fine tuning as far as how sharp a turn you want to make, how big your headland is, some of that stuff, and then you just let it kind of do its thing.
Yeah, I mean, it took 5 minutes to set up out here. It was easier this year. I added a headland pass just so I had that room to do it. Sometimes tighter headland passes, it'll still work. We did it out here last year, but you just got to play with that sequence. To sometimes on the steep point rows, I wanted to set down and not have that little bitty skip, because I mean, these planters, section control is so perfect that I don't want to see that little square where it's set down too late across the headland boundary there.
So you did 3 headland boundaries?
Yeah. Yep, which gave us plenty of room to do, but we did it with 2 last year, and it was no problem. I mean, even next to ditches, we got roads right next to, and it worked just fine. So, but it really speeds the process up, especially if you're not super, you got a less experienced operator in there. Mm-hmm. That makes it very, very quick. Yeah, to keep going.
Nice. Yeah. Great to hear that. We've seen that success just like our customers have as well.
Yeah, no, and we slapped a receiver on that planter to record AutoPath lines, and we've already utilized that. I think when we came out and sprayed the pre-emerge out there, just
good.
I think you worked on getting that work plan over with the AutoPath lines for the sprayer.
Yeah, and that was the easy part. I mean, the harder part was just getting all the products built into it. Right. AutoPath was just automatic in the work plan. So.
Yep. So as soon as you came in and sprayed, it was perfect. Yeah. Everything lined up the way it needed to be. So, and I'll be very happy to utilize that when we combine the corn. That's where AutoPath to me shines, is not getting off that one row and picking up, backing up, moving over, setting back down. Yeah.
You mean you don't like knocking over corn?
I prefer not to. Yeah,
We're not chopping.
No.
We're picking for grain.
No, nothing is more shameful than cutting the wheel too hard and knocking over 16 rows of corn with the head and backing up. It's
You look like Crawl out there.
yeah,
From Son-in-Law.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not an ideal. It's a shameful situation to do that. So
Sure.
AutoPath sure helps with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. Anything else to comes to your mind for pre-planning and kind of getting things ready for the season?
I mean, I would say now, once our next focus is probably going to be keeping this wheat healthy. We will be out here combining, doing some training and things out here at the farm. So I think that'll be our next focus, and just keeping corn growing, keeping water on it as much as we can.
What technology are we going to have on that combine that we'll be testing out here?
So we will have one of the model year 2025 combines out here. We're going to have an S7 700 and then an S7 800. I think we'll see how it plays out, which machine we'll bring out here, but those are going to have all the new harvesting automation features on them.
Yeah.
So we're going to be utilizing all of that technology out here, along with a lot of customer demos.
Sure. Hopefully the clouds clear up. We can get some satellite imagery.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see how that's all going to work.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see. I mean, we're going to be getting those machines out in front of a lot of customers, hopefully here in wheat harvest, and then again in corn harvest. So more to come on that. We're going to be doing some cool things with that. I'm excited to run those machines.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that technology, from the satellite imagery to the biomass sensors on the cameras in front of the combine.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll find out if this wheat looks good now, but if wind comes up and it lays over, that'll really test that predictive ground speed automation
absolutely.
to see how well it handles those situations where it's laid down.
Yep.
So that'll be a good test for it.
Are you hoping for wind?
No. I mean,
Not after the last few
I
days.
could deal with no more wind. Yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but it's not.
Now we've had enough.
I would rather have it rain on us like it is now, and instead of having the wind blow us over. So
Absolutely. Well, Derek and Casey, I appreciate you guys coming out and kind of talking about what's happening here at the farm. And like I said, we talked about a lot of these technologies at the expo this year, our first annual. And as I mentioned before, we'll be doing that again next year, February 26th and 27th. So mark that on your calendar. We'll have the same experts in the room, all in one building, one space, to talk about tillage, planting, applications, and harvesting all in one. And we saw a lot of new technology come out this year, and I know we'll see a lot more next year as well, and how that can continue to advance us going forward, and what technology we can share with our customers and try out here at the farm, alongside with our customers and our partners out on their farms as well. Thank you for tuning in to the FarmCast, and we'll see you next time.